Hello and welcome to today's violin lesson. All right. Today we are going to be looking at the Essential Elements Violin Book 1. And the exercise we're looking at today is number 34. Okay. And it is Natalie's Rose. Now you can do this either plucking or with the bow. I'm going to use the bow. All right. And let's go ahead and jump right into it. Now, before you give yourself a chance to play this, I'm going to go ahead and play it first. And I want you to listen just very carefully to what I'm playing, all right? So I'm going to start from the very beginning, and we're just going to take this nice and slow, okay? So here we go. Number 34, Natalie's Rose. 1 and 2 and 3 and go. And rest and okay. So one of the first parts that's going to be a little bit tricky is that very last measure. Now, if you look at the last measure, you have D on the A string. Now, remember that is 3 fingers on the A string. And then you also have an open D. And then you have 3 fingers on the A string again. So if you look at that very carefully, basically you're just doing. All right. Now, pretty much what I'm doing here is I'm keeping my 3 fingers down on the A string. Now make sure that your fingers are not moving over into the D string, because then what's going to happen is that when you try to play that D, it's going to make a weird noise. So you got to make sure that your fingers are not touching the D string at all, okay? So remember that, okay? So let's take a look at that very last measure. All right, now let's do that one more time. If you're plucking it or using it with the bow, either or, all right? But let's try it just one time. We're gonna do it note by note. So here we go. And now the open D and D. I actually moved my fingers that time, so let's try that again. So one more time, D, open D, D on the A. Okay, now when you're practicing this one, okay, make sure that you're doing either note by note or measure by measure, all right? I'm going to go ahead and do this one measure at a time, okay? So we're going to use the measure by measure method. So here we go. Okay, now I want you to try that by yourself. Here we go. Ready, and. Now let's stop right there. Now we're going to do the second measure. Let's stop right there and let's try it again. One more time. Here we go. Ready, and. Okay, now let's try the next measure, measure number 3. Here we go with me. Ready, and. Okay, now the fourth measure. Rest. All right, now the next measure. Rest. Now the next measure. Rest. And now the next measure. Good. And now the final measure. Now, if you need to, go back in this video and pause wherever you might need help with those measures, all right? Remember, the point is to be able to play them clearly and in tune, all right? It's not to play them fast. We're not racing here, okay? Now, we are going to try doing two measures at a time. So I'm going to do measure 1 and measure 2. So here we go. So measure 1 and 2. 1 and 2 and ready and. Pause the video if you need to and go back and listen to it and then try to play it with me, okay? For now though, let's go on to the next one, which is measure 3 and measure 4. So here we go. Here we go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, again, go back, pause the video if you need to. All right. Now let's continue going on into the next measure, measure 5 and 6. All right, so here we go. Ready and rest. Okay, pause the video if you need to and then go back if you need to listen to it or try to play it with me, okay? And now the last two measures. Here we go. With me. 1 and 2 and ready and. Okay, good. Now that we've done one measure and two measures at a time, let's try doing three measures, okay? So we're going to do measures 1, 2, and 3. And we're going to take this just nice and slow. All right? So here we go. 1 and 2 and 3 and go. And. Now stop right there. And again, pause the video, go back if you need to, and listen to what I just played. Try to follow along if you can, then go back and try to play it, all right? Now let's try the next three measures. So measures 4, 5, and 6. Here we go. Ready, and. Okay, all right. Now go back if you need to and try to play it with me. Or pause the video if you need to, go back and listen to it, whatever it is that you have to do. Now let's do those last two measures. Since it's only two, we're not doing three, so we're just going to do those last two by themselves. So here we go. Ready, and. Okay, all right. And finally, we're going to get into four measures at a time. So let's take it now from the very beginning, and we're going to do this just nice and easy. Again, if there's any part of this that you are not understanding, go back in the video, listen to whatever spot it is that you need to, and then go ahead and try to play it. And make sure that you are using the metronome. All right, so here we go. Ready, and. Okay, now I'm going to leave the rest up to you. So let's try now doing those four measures. All right, so pause the video right now. Try to see if you can play it. And if not, no worries, just go back. Try to approach it the same way we did earlier. One measure at a time, two measures at a time, three measures at a time, and then try to get it to four measures. All right. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and play the second line. So here we go. Next four measures. Ready, go. Rest. All right. So If there's any part of this video that you need to rewatch or listen to so that way you understand what's going on, go ahead and do that now. Remember, take this either note by note or measure by measure. Always have some sort of practice strategy when you are looking at these exercises. All right, that concludes the lesson for today. I will see you all next time.